Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Good Tuesday morning to you. All of our coffee every single morning is brewed and brought to you by Majestic Coffee, locally brewed here in South Louisiana, and everybody that appears on the phone lines this morning will come in compliments of Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Get in touch with Jason Ramazan and Charlie Harvey over at Metropolitan Health Group. Good morning. Katie's here. Jack's here. Lizzie's here. We're going to talk to Doug. We're going to talk to Doug Thompson coming up. LSU baseball getting back to work today. Hunt Palmer going to be in studio with us at 7:30, and then Beth Torina making her Jordy Culotta Show debut at 8:30 this morning. We'll call her. She was over at the Kim Mulkey press conference yesterday, as it brought out all the stars here in Louisiana: politicians, dignitaries, board members, head coaches, former head coaches. It was a hell of a sight over at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center yesterday on campus, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll talk all about it coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We always appreciate your interaction. Remember, you can always find us on YouTube. Like, share, comment. We appreciate that.
Click that bell.
Yes, get notified.
Get notified. Get noties, dude. Get noties.
And then on Facebook as well, as we were live on Facebook, on YouTube yesterday, and we were also on the JordyCulottaShow.com. So wherever you are accessing us, we appreciate that. Make sure you're telling a friend, like, share, everything that's going on. Kim Mulkey is 1-0.
Yes.
1-0.
Won the presser.
Crushed the press conference, I thought. Killed the press conference. No, never doubted that she would, though, right?
No, that's right up her alley, huh?
Right up her alley. I thought that LSU did a beautiful... LSU knows how to put on, right? And Louisiana knows how to put out. I mean, an opportunity for every... Richard Lipsy and his wife sitting front row. Governor John Bell Edwards there. Board members there. Stanley Jacobs, former board member that's under a little bit of fire right now, was in the crowd yesterday. A lot of people from the Ponchatoula, Amite, Independence, Tickfall, Tangipahoa area.
Strawberries flying everywhere.
Strawberries flying everywhere.
Bro, when they gave her that wind bar, I thought that's what was in there. I thought it was full of strawberries, but it was little basketballs.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I thought it was too. I talked to her a little bit afterwards. She was very grateful for the strawberries.
Oh, yeah.
Wanted me to send back. Thank you to Katie for sending the strawberries
sweet.
over, and she had gotten them.
We'll keep them coming.
Yep. And she did say that she will come into the undisclosed location.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I can't wait.
And is going to sit down and talk all about this. She said that they should send the Jordy Culotta Show a paycheck.
Finder's fee.
Who's
Finder's
they?
fee.
She was talking, well, Scott Woodward was right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she was like, and Michael Bonnet was standing right there too, and he was kind of looking at me like, oh. I looked back and Cobble's running camera, and I wanted to say to Cobble, make sure you got that on film, but she's like, pat me on the back, they need to send you a paycheck, Culotta. And Scott Woodward's
They
like
do.
sitting right there, he's kind of grinning. It was a great day for LSU, for Louisiana. Dee Bro was in the crowd. I will say this, in talking to Coach Mulkey and talking to some people yesterday from LSU that were behind the scenes and getting this deal done, Dee Bro was a huge element to this.
Really?
Just an enormous comforter for Kim Mulkey. A lot of the questions that Mulkey had about, just the politics of LSU, the relationships that go in. What's if she wants to get certain things done, will she be able to get things done? And Dee Bro was a voice of reason, a very much voice of balance for Coach Mulkey in this situation. But it was obviously a group effort that was spearheaded by Woodward that was very defiant on getting this deal done. I don't think that Woodward was going to take no for an answer. And as Coach Mulkey said yesterday in her opening press conference, her introductory press conference, it was about a 10-minute call, about 15 minutes. Didn't go longer than 15 minutes. Didn't take much to to really get her to believe that LSU was the right place at the right time. And a lot of the stuff that we talked about and we're selling on Mulkey of the advantage of her, it sounded like LSU was too, right? I mean, like that it was bigger than basketball. It was bringing her presence into the athletic department during a time where it's desperate for that type of leadership. I mean, you saw yesterday 7 more lawsuits filed against LSU on conspiracy and cover up on what was happening and stories and allegations. So I mean, the public relations machine and the stories continue to mount for LSU, and not that Kim Mulkey is going to save what has been done, but she is going to change the direction of where LSU athletics and really the institution is headed. And I thought, you saw that with just the support in yesterday's press conference. I mean, how many people were there? A couple of
show too.
I mean, it was an absolute. It was a performance. It was entertainment. I mean, she walked out and they were shooting fire cannons into the air.
Yes,
I mean, you could tell even her, who is, I mean, she loves the big stage, right? She was even kind of like,
tell me about that. Yes,
you know what I mean?
The production value was off the charts.
It really was.
Jock's made a great point yesterday about the free marketing. He was talking about when Joe Burrow won the Heisman, that was like worth $1 million worth of marketing, free marketing for LSU, and that was free marketing. So if you make a show, and in this digital world you live in, we were talking about it before, how they made that hype video back like it was 2019 LSU football within like 2 hours. Well, she was flying from Waco to Baton Rouge. I mean, LSU won the day. That was awesome. The marketing team, everything.
For sure.
No, it was a huge day for LSU. I mean, 1,100 ticket sales yesterday.
That's
overnight.
amazing.
What else do you need to
And
know?
a pandemic.
I mean, what else? What else do you need to sell other than that is what you're judged by as far as success goes. In a college sport is the bottom line. Are tickets moving? Are people interested? And you saw her selling that yesterday, and the people respond by 1,100 in the first day. Wait until you see her in LSU colors. Wait until you see B-roll of her coaching her team. Wait till you see her team perform. People will be lined up to watch LSU women's basketball in 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, in certain games, you just run down the list of coaches in the league. I was reading some stuff on SEC women's basketball yesterday. I mean, it is going to be fun to watch her in this league with her personality, her ability to recruit, the competitive nature she brings to the games. People are going to they're going to love that. They are going to be attracted to that. They're going to want to support that. They're going to want to be in the stands and want to be in the in the seats for that. So I thought she won the day. LSU won the day. Obviously, the ticket sales in response show the support for the move and the hire. And how about our boy Willie Wade and his coat?
Drip.
That sport coat.
I love
Shout
that
out
coat.
to Sammy Willard at Harper's Haberdashery.
That's
A nice
awesome.
day. Harper's won the day.
That's an
Oh,
ad.
that's
right
$1
there.
million
That is an
worth
ad.
of free marketing.
That is
Yeah.
$1 million worth of free marketing.
And I didn't even know it was Harper's, and I was posting about it. I wish I would have
know.
known. It
I
was
know.
Sam's jacket.
I should have reached out to you, but Sam last night texted me and said, "How about that coat?"
He did.
I mean,
He
we
should be
saw-
posting that.
It's a good
Yeah.
fam.
He does, man. I mean, he was.
People want that coat now.
It was everywhere.
That was a great photo.
And I thought Willie rocked it.
He
Yeah.
did.
You know what I mean? He wore it well. He
He
wore
did.
it well.
Yeah, he did.
So
You know what it was? It's that he didn't have to wear it on the sidelines this year. He got to kind of dress down a little bit. So when you see him back to the nines, we're like, oh, well, he's still got the old fastball if he
right.
needs it.
Right, that's right.
Gets
That's
past
right.
ya.
Yeah.
And Kim, anti-masker.
As we saw.
Not a big masker. I mean, John Bell Edwards sitting from Meta Lloyd in front of Kim. I mean, she takes the mask and pretty much like
She
shoots it across
slingshotted
the
that
room.
thing.
Get this thing off my face.
Plant workers love her right now.
I mean, like,
Oh, the crowd went
the
wild.
Tangipahoa Parish behind the camera well was, I mean, they stood up, gave her a standing
WWE
O.
moment.
That's really what it was. It was like a heel turn.
It was incredible.
It was a big day for the Jordy Culotta show too. Lloyd's first live stream.
Yes.
Yeah, I assume it went well.
Brady's first live stream.
I was texting with Katie back and forth, like, "Is this on? Can you watch this? Like, is it on?" She's like, "I think
Lloyd
so.
has the
Can you
lens
hear it?"
on.
Yes.
It's on.
I was like,
It's
"Okay,
on.
we're
It's
doing
happening.
it."
It was a great day. I mean,
Yeah.
it was
Banner
phenomenal.
day.
Absolutely, it opened up our eyes to something new over here at the Jordy Culotta show. So we're fired up about it. Remember, daily we are brought to you by Johnson and Spillers Dentistry. Got to get in there this week. I'm going to see Dr. Chad Spillers, my guy over there at Johnson and Spillers. If you need any dental work done, if you are looking for teeth whitening, if you've got cavities, if you are looking for Botox, they can help you out over there at Johnson and Spillers. JohnsonSpillers.com is where you get to them online. They got great social media as well. If you want to find them there, they got a Baton Rouge location on Perkins Road in between Segan and Bluebonnet, and then out in Gonzales on Prepara Drive is where you can find them out there in Ascension Parish. But Johnson and Spillers Dentistry, get in touch with them as we will link up with Doug Thompson here. Dougie's on his way to a meeting this morning. We're not hooked up to Bluetooth. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back, and we'll have Doug Thompson for you right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Well, folks.
Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that health care is brought to you in 2021. Welcome back into the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet every single day here. Remember, stop in and check out Go Express Auto Sales, the newest used car lot here in Baton Rouge, Florida Boulevard. If you're stopping, if you're on the road, I-10, stop off in Laplace and check out Go Chevrolet, Lee Carney, Nick Richard, great supporters. In fact, we got gear we need to go drop off to the boys.
Let's do it.
Yes, Southern Marsh. Remember, in fact, gear, undisclosed location T-shirts. Today is the deadline.
Speaking of, yeah.
Make your order today over at Red Stick Sports.
The deadline for those UDL shirts, y'all.
What was the car?
Jordy.itemorder.com.
Chevy Sprint. What was it?
Spark.
Spark.
Go Spark.
Go Spark.
Doug Thompson is a part of the LSU Sports Radio Network. LSU Baseball is back in action today at 4 o'clock. Dougie is kind enough to join us here on the Jordy Culotta Show as he's on the move this morning. Dougie, good morning. How are you? Oh, no.
He's up. He's on.
Yeah. I screwed that up. Dougie, good morning. Let me try it one more time. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing today?
Hey,
Doing
Doug.
good. Doing good.
Hello.
Kim Mulkey was introduced yesterday as the LSU women's basketball coach, Doug. You are a highly accomplished athlete, played at the highest level. This, to me, is maybe the biggest hire in LSU athletics history as far as accomplished coaches go. Skip Bertman and Nick Saban came in without the credentials. They left as the best of all time. But Kim Mulkey, where she is right now in her career, what type of hire is this for the LSU athletic department?
I mean, she's a legend. And like you said, Saban and Coach Bergman became legends, and she is one already. So that's very cool. It's a huge boost for that program, obviously, and I think for the school right now, considering everything that's going on. But couldn't be happier to have her. She's a special human being. I've had the opportunity to have several conversations with her out on the road after games. And she is one of a kind. And I think that LSU is obviously very lucky to have her here.
Doug Thompson joining us here on the Jordy Culotta show. Doug, last weekend for LSU, it was a tale of two teams when you talk about Thursday, Friday, and then the way that they left on Saturday. What was your biggest takeaway from the 3-game set in Oxford?
Well, taking the series is huge. I mean, on the road anywhere in the SEC, it's big, but in Oxford, I think it's even a little bit tougher. So that's big. And obviously, I was talking to Nolan Kane on Monday and said it actually kind of stinks that they have to, they take a series on the road like that, a much-needed series, and then still have to wake up with a sick feeling in their stomach on Monday, almost as if you lost the series. But that's as crazy as it can get, right? I mean, 8 runs with 2 outs. But, as you know, Jordy, I spend a lot of time on the youth field with my kids. And one thing we say all the time is in baseball, no matter what the score is, the game's not over until it's over, until that last out's made. And that's why it's one of the greatest sports, if not the greatest sport of all time. So, It was a tough way to leave Oxford, but you still have to find some positives there. And I think even if you look at that loss, you have to realize that was a strike of lightning type thing. It doesn't happen very often. But you were 2-0 and throttling Ole Miss, not just beating them, in Game 3. So hopefully that confidence exudes over into this weekend. They're going to need it. Arkansas is obviously. Very likely has a chip on their shoulder and has probably circled this one on their calendar just because they feel like they have some things to repay LSU for the past. But you never know. This is where that Alec Box magic kicks in. And if you've been watching what I've been watching with Paul Mainieri-led teams over the past decade or so, the one thing that I've learned is that until it's mathematically impossible for that man and his teams to advance, it'd be foolish at this point to count them out. And I think they have some positive momentum. So if you can squeak 2 or 3 away this weekend and then play 2 teams that really haven't played they've played in the SEC, so they've played a tough schedule. They just haven't run the gauntlet quite that LSU has in Alabama and Auburn. And, it ain't over till it's over, just like that last game there in Oxford. So we'll see what happens. It should be an exciting home stretch.
Doug, how big was A.J. Labus on Friday, and what do you think that does for his confidence?
Well, I think Labus has been good all year. He's turned in. I would say every start that he's had has been quality, maybe with the exception of one. The win-losses aren't there for him, but that doesn't mean too much. He just means that he's leaving either a tie game or trailing, by a narrow margin. But what you want your starting pitchers to do is to pitch as long as they can. And the goal and objective is for them to, when they leave that game, that your team has a chance to win. I think Labus does a great job of that.
Morning, Doug. Trey Morgan was just announced as SEC Freshman of the Week, just going with the group of Dylan Cruz, Jordan Thompson, and Trey Morgan. What do you think the potential is with this group? How high is that ceiling?
It's off the charts. 20, 25 years ago, this many freshmen that we've seen this year get the opportunity to play, that never happened, right? 2 or 3 guys may get a chance early in the season, and if they did show some qualities that they were able to compete, not only compete at this level, but compete with this type of pressure of playing at the box. You may see a guy once every year or two, like Mike Fontenot and Ryan Theriot and Blair Barbier and Todd Walker. I think Eddie Furness played as a freshman, but it was few and far between. To have 3 guys this year that have put up the numbers that Jordan Thompson, Trey Morgan, and Dylan Cruz have is just off the charts. So I think it obviously really bodes well for the future. Not only those guys, but they have some others in there that I really think are going to be key contributors with a little bit more time here on campus. But these arms in the bullpen, the young arms, the Ty Floyd, the Edwards, and many others, I think also give us a lot to be excited about, down the road. So that's a great question, and I really am kind of surprised this year by how many freshmen Nolan Kane and his staff were able to go out there and find that were able to come to LSU and step on the field and compete.
And as you see this team, I don't want to say turn the corner, but kind of you see the pieces kind of start to be put together, especially with the pitching staff. How big are we starting to see how big of a loss Jaden Hill is?
Oh, I mean, I think that goes without saying, right? I mean, anytime you lose your ace, that's almost an impossible recovery situation. And they've actually battled pretty well since then. But I think I talked to you guys the week after it happened, and I remember talking about how, you've got to try to find the blessing sometimes. And the blessing here was that you were going to be able to run out those young arms, get them some innings under their belt that matter, SEC key innings. And next year when they come back, they're gonna have that much more confidence, and they're gonna be ready to roll. So yes, I think that we've seen the injury to Jaden Hill and the repercussion it's had on this team since the day that it's happened. But guys have stepped up, and we've learned a lot about these young pitchers, possibly because of that injury.
Doug, I don't mean to put you on the spot if you hadn't started your preparation yet, but LSU has seen some of the top teams in the league so far, and Arkansas has had that number one spot next to their name. How good are the Hogs?
Man, that's a great question, because I've been thinking about the same thing. We've seen some dudes rolling here and on the road, and to think that Arkansas has really gone wire to wire, almost number one. I mean, I don't know if that's accurate, but they've been up there for a while. Let's just put it like that. And I've talked to many people, around the program in the know, and everyone kind of has the same story. Like, we haven't seen anything like Arkansas. Overpowering arms coming out the wazoo. They're going to hit the ball. They're going to hit it out of the ballpark. The one thing is they do have a propensity to walk the ball. They'll walk everyone. They get a little bit wild. And, again, late in the year when the weather starts to warm up, that place over there right across from Tiger Stadium has seen some magical things over the past 20, 30 years. And this would be one of those weekends. Jordy, I don't know if you recall a few years back when Florida had the big guys, and they had Faedo and the big lefty, and they were coming here to the box, and it was a must-win situation. And we actually won the first two games, and we didn't play on Sunday, I don't think, because it got rained out. But no one expected the Tigers to prevail that weekend, and they did. They kind of shocked the world to position themselves for the home stretch. And this is kind of that same scenario. Everybody's nervous and fretting over the future, et cetera. But let me know if you feel like that on Monday if they come away with a sweep or a 2 out of 3 series win, right? Momentum is everything, and really every sport. In baseball, it's huge. And I think the Tigers have some positive momentum despite losing that game on Sunday. And again, I'm as hopeful as anyone that we'll see that on the field against Arkansas this weekend.
Have a good Tuesday, Douglas. Have a great call this weekend. Thank you for your time as always.
You're my guy. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. There's Doug Thompson
Bye-bye.
checking in, DT9, as you can check him out on the call on the LSU Sports Radio Network. I mean, really, how good can Arkansas be? I mean,
yeah, that opened my eyes because Vanderbilt, I thought.
Even Mississippi State and Ole Miss to a degree. I mean, I know LSU won the series at Ole Miss, but I mean, you could see
they were like
how good they are. I mean, you've seen Mississippi State up close. Vanderbilt looks like a minor league team. I mean, Arkansas is that much better.
And they're just kind of lurking.
How, with Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter, and for Vanderbilt, how do you say that? He said so bold.
Well, I mean, if Tom and as Doug described it, I mean, if there is one drawback to Arkansas is that they get a little wild on the mound. So, I mean, I would guess that their strength would be their lineup and their defense. If it's not, because Vanderbilt's so much built around their powerful pitching staff. I mean, they just mow you down. If Arkansas is a little wild with it, I mean, they must beat you in different ways. And to think that, and as Doug pointed out, I mean, they got a little payback on the brain. They won LSU for LSU going there last season and taking the series, and I think that it's kind of it's a competitive rivalry. I mean, I think that they kind of go back and forth. So
that rivalry goes into baseball too, like the football rivalry.
It sounds like it bleeds over. I don't know it enough to speak, but I mean, it sounded like Doug with the way that he painted that picture. I mean, I know that the football thing.
Yeah, I always only thought it was football. I guess it would make sense that it were other sports.
Sure.
But why?
Just because of Arkansas was really the first to be competitive outside of LSU, Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Kind of the third team that kind of rose up of this SEC network money. Hunt Palmer knows more about this than anybody on the planet.
Let's ask him.
And he is a great resource to go to this. And as we say that, Hunt is walking up to the undisclosed location. So we're going to reshuffle our set. We're going to bring Hunt in, and we're going to talk a lot about that, about this Arkansas club. How good can they really be when you're talking about the number one being next to their name all season and LSU seeing the heavyweights in the league? How much better are the Hogs than everybody else? Hunt will dive into that. And really, when did this LSU baseball Arkansas series become a little testy? Yeah, right. I mean, just you could kind of feel the bad blood between both programs. Hunt is a great resource to that. He is, of course, from the LSU Sports Radio Network as well. So we will talk to him coming up here after we remind you every single day that we are brought to you by Falaya Real Estate. Remember, over at Falaya, our good friend Barrett Blondo is doing a phenomenal job of bringing different ways to the people, to the consumer, on how to sell your house. You can give Barrett a call this morning. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, if you want to save some cash, then you got to check out Falaya Real Estate. Barrett Blondo is really changing things up over there. You can call him this morning, 225-939-6153, 225-939-6153, or online. Visit him at falaya.com. Download the app today. If you're looking to sell your house this spring, if you're thinking about trying for sale by owner, check out Falaya. Listing plans start at $399. Online, falaya.com. All right, we'll be back and we'll talk to Hunt here on the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.show.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back in here to the Jordy Culotta Show live on this Tuesday morning. Coming up an hour from now, we will talk to Beth Torina, head coach of the LSU softball squad, as they pick up a series win over the weekend. This time they take care of Kentucky. LSU and the doubleheaders are almost unbeatable this year. 9-1 Torina's group on those Saturday doubleheaders, as LSU taking care of business and rolling towards the postseason again. Hunt Palmer is in the undisclosed location with us back here from the LSU Sports Radio Network. We talked a little baseball with Doug Thompson coming out of the 7:15 segment, Hunt, and you can shed a lot of light on this Arkansas program. But before we get there, LSU in the mainstream news right now because of the move that they made in bringing in Kim Mulkey to be the next LSU women's basketball coach. That press conference happened yesterday over in the Maravich Center. A great atmosphere and environment over there. I know you weren't able to make it, but what was your reaction to the news of Mulkey becoming an official LSU women's basketball coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best hire you can make. I mean, I don't think Gina's leaving anytime soon, so this is it. And that's kind of Scott Woodward's MO. He's a whale killer, and he went out there and found a whale and brought her home, as she said like 5 million times in the press conference. So it's a big deal for that program, which was among the best in the country a decade ago, and now it's dead asleep.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal for them. I think it's great for the community because, as we've seen, if you're purple and gold and win, they'll show up. I mean, if you would have told me 10 years ago they were going to have over 10,000 people in there for gymnastics, like, well, there's no chance. But they're really good, and they've created a fun environment, and they sell that place out. And they compete for a championship every single year, and there's really no reason to think that she won't do the same type of thing. It's not going to be for everybody, but there's enough people in this city, in this community, in this fan base that if it's purple and gold and it wins, they'll show up, and she ought to make that happen.
Hunt, when did Arkansas become good in baseball? When did that? Was it SEC Network money that made that happen?
No, I mean, Van Horn's been there longer than that, and they've been a player since he got there. I mean, they brought him over from Nebraska, and he's built a really good program. Obviously, they were one catch of a foul ball away from winning the national championship and let it get away. Yeah. But he's just built a really, really solid program. They've invested a ton in facilities. They've got money. That's not an issue. And you can get good baseball players to go to Arkansas. It's hard to get football players to go there because none of them are from the state. But they can go to Texas, go to Arkansas. They've had some success in California and in Tennessee, and they've built a monster.
Doug mentioned that Arkansas's got some bad blood for LSU, like they have some revenge on their mind this weekend. Where does that come from, and what do you anticipate this weekend after LSU's performance last week? We'll get to Ole Miss, but just how do you expect this weekend? What's your feeling about it going into it?
Well, as far as their feelings towards LSU, I think that LSU just represents something they haven't quite gotten to yet. It's not like it was when Mississippi State and LSU had bad blood because of incidents that had happened with, they're throwing at Mason Katz and the third base coach yelling at Christian Ibarra and the coaches not liking each other. Van Horn and Mainieri get along. It's not a hatred. It's more of a rivalry, a competition where LSU's got 6 national championships hanging up and Arkansas hadn't gotten there, and they think of themselves as being a program on that level. So, plus you bring in some of the crazy games that have happened. The Rally Possum was against Arkansas. The crazy game up in Fayetteville a few years ago where Arkansas just threw it all over the yard in the 9th inning for no reason, and LSU was able to come back from like 5 or 6 down to win a game they had really no business winning. That's where all that comes from. It's not necessarily bad blood. It's just healthy competition between two giants in the sport.
What did you take away from last weekend? Did it feel like a loss in the way
they just don't have enough room for error to do that? I mean, I understand that, winning the series is really good, but at this point, you've dug your hole so deep that when you get an 8-run lead, you got to win the game. I mean, the math is still hard. They've got to get 1 from Arkansas this week and then win the last 3 series to get to 13, and that's the bare minimum. You may have to get to 14. So telling this team that they've got to win every series coming home, that's a tall ask. So it hurts to lose that game. It hurts to have Tennessee on the ropes with 1 strike to go and not finish the game. They just haven't closed it, and it's because the bullpen's not very good. So it's encouraging that they had to get 3 outs to win a series against South Carolina, and it's encouraging that they were in position to sweep Ole Miss, and they are playing better, which everyone I think thought they would. You couldn't play much worse, and I thought they would start hitting, and they have, and Marceau and Levis have continued to be solid and give them a chance. But you got to close out an 8-run lead. You just have to do that.
Who's been the biggest surprise from the offensive uptick?
Thompson. Just not a guy that I thought was I shouldn't not a guy that I knew was ready. Certainly, you bring in a guy who's from California. He's gotten some. He's been on showcase circuits. He was brought in to be a shortstop in the program. So you think that he's got a chance to be a really good player, but I didn't think offensively he would be a key piece to this team, and he's turned into that, and it's been pretty consistent. It's not been like a flash in the pan over a weekend. He's, since being inserted in the lineup at shortstop, has swung the bat pretty well, and that's a surprise to me.
Is Milazzo improving offensively? Is that a story?
Well, he was like
right.
He was like
Swimming
1 for
in a
18
dweller,
when it's when in SEC play to start. So yeah, I mean he hit a little bit through 4 weeks last year, had a couple of doubles, and he's never going to be a 3 or 4 hole hitter, but he's got to give you something. And I think he's the more you see it, the more used to it you get. You remember, I mean, we've known him for a very long time, but he didn't see an SEC arm last year. He didn't get there, so it's all new to him too. So he's never going to be a huge offensive force, but if he can give you something, you need it.
The youth on this team has got to be a bright and shining star, right? I mean, Trey Morgan was just named SEC Freshman of the Week. Dylan Cruz hit a bomb on Thursday night. When you see this freshman group, what's the feeling that you have? I mean, you have a great historical reference to LSU baseball. Where is this group?
I've mentioned this before. There are some players that are kind of grouped together in my mind because they had success or were good players and they had good teams. It's Katz and Rhymes. Mm-hmm. It's Laird and Stevenson. Yeah. It's Freeman and Kramer kind of have that to me. Lang and Poche definitely have that to me. And I feel like these three with Morgan, Cruz, and Thompson, that'll feel like an era. However it ends up over these next 2 years after this one, that's kind of where I am. The concerning thing is that I don't know who's going to pitch while they play here. I see these freshman arms, and they've been out there, and there's some things to like about them, but I don't see anybody making a move like Gaussman or Lang or Poche or Nola or any of those guys did as freshmen. Now, Lewis Coleman wasn't great as a freshman. Anthony Renato was hurt his whole freshman year and didn't really pitch till the Super. So it doesn't mean you don't have to be a great freshman to have a good career on the mound. But there's just some flaws. Ty Floyd's got to work on the second pitch. Javen Coleman just got thrown into the fire and showed you some stuff here and there. We've seen Edwards and Helmers. Those guys, they've gotten some outs, but do I see a plus pitch from either one of those guys? I see a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and a curveball. So there's time to develop. Everyone has these 3 or 4 years to improve, but I'm concerned about the next 2 years on the mound. You can fix that with a signing class and some development, but yeah, those 3 freshmen, they can play.
It feels like LSU's played the heavyweights of the league. In saying that means the country. How much better is Arkansas than the rest of this group? Because, I mean, they've had the number one next to their name for the majority of the season, yet it feels like LSU has seen Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and even Ole Miss at times. I mean, last weekend you could see how they were good.
I don't know that Arkansas is any better than Vanderbilt at all. I don't know that they're a lot better than Ole Miss. I mean, they went to Oxford and played them, and that game 3 was a rubber match, went into extra innings. They hadn't played Vanderbilt yet. So Arkansas is very balanced on offense. They got a lot of guys that can hurt you, and they're deep 1 to 9. Their starting rotation is interesting. They've started 5 guys in SEC play. Wicklander's probably the best, but not a guy that usually goes out there and goes 8 innings with 11 strikeouts like Leiter does or Rocker does. The thing they have in the back end is they have Copps, who's their closer, who they'll go to for 4 innings if they need to, and he just shuts the door. I mean, I think in like 20-something innings, he's got like 49 strikeouts and 8 walks or something in SEC play. When they get a lead in whatever the first game they get a lead in, he's coming in there in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and he slams the door. Against South Carolina, his last outing, he faced 6 guys and struck them all out. That's an X factor, and it shortens the game. You've got to have a lead on them, or he's coming in and he makes it hurt. So they've always got a pitching staff with a lot of big arms. That's the case here. They don't have necessarily the guy like they've had in the past with maybe Ryan Stanek or just a guy that's very clearly at the top of the rotation. I don't necessarily see that, but they've got enough arms and plenty of bats.
What did you make of Labus's performance last weekend, and where where do you expect him every weekend?
He's been good all year. I mean, Louisiana Tech hit him around, and then since then he's settled in and given him a chance to win every time he goes out there. And obviously going 125-plus pitches and a complete game is a lot on the arm, but he's an older player. He's not a max effort guy. He's a control pitcher. He throws a lot of change-ups. So, I think he'll be okay. But, yeah, those two guys, Marceau and Labus, are going to have to carry the load because if you tax the bullpen in games 1 and 2, you really have no chance in Game 3 at this point because they just don't have anybody that can eat innings in Game 3. So it puts even more pressure on Marceau and Labus to deliver the goods.
Draft is on Thursday night. Jamar Chase seems like he's going to be the first wide receiver taken off the board. Terrace Marshall is hovering around a late first-round pick. We know the greatness of Chase, and I think sometimes that overshadowed how spectacular of a player Marshall was. He came from your neck of the woods in North Louisiana. What did you make of the last 3 years of seeing Terrace Marshall, and where do you expect him to go Thursday night?
Well, he was leading the nation in touchdowns when he got hurt as a junior, and then came back and was a star, even with Jefferson and Chase making all the plays they were. Makes a huge play in the national championship game on a high point ball in the end zone. And then, which we weren't expecting after we walked off the field in the Superdome, he got a chance to be the number 1 receiver as a junior because Jamar opted out. And while the results were terrible from a team perspective, he showed up and showed he was the number 1 guy even when everybody was looking at him. He's got every measurable you want. Yeah, he did get hurt one time, but I don't think there's an injury concern. There's certainly not a character concern. He's everything you would want in a wide receiver, and that position has become increasingly more in demand, more in vogue. You got to go get that. It's not necessarily running backs anymore. It's not necessarily middle linebackers anymore. You need guys on the edge that can win. He's one of those. I would expect him to go in the late first round.
Randy Landwall, going back to baseball real quick, asked about why they lifted Helmers in the third on Saturday. And I know you can't talk to strategy, but Helmers has been – what do you make of him coming in a position there?
Yeah, I mean, he usually throws a lot of strikes. He's gotten some outs for him. Mainieri expressed a concern. I don't know if the statistics necessarily back it up a ton that he had trouble finishing guys and finishing innings in SEC play. Maybe thought time to go somewhere else. I know he wanted to get Coleman a look. I can't necessarily speak to exactly why he made the decision he made or what he saw. But I think expecting Helmers to go, 6 innings probably a bit much. So he thought he'd probably gotten the best out of him. They had all seen him once get a new look out there.
You have kept you've done a great job, at least for me, over the past couple of years in keeping perspective on the chatter around Paul Mainieri and his job security. Once again, here in season, the smoke is hovering. What's the feeling around Mainieri, and where are you going into another SEC series on him?
It's a long-winded answer. I'll keep it shorter. What an LSU baseball coach is tasked with doing is putting a team together over a 56-game schedule that proves they're in the top 8 in the country and are at the top 8 national seed and give you the best chance to advance to Omaha. That's his job. To me, if you do that and Alex Lang goes out there as a sophomore and gives up 4 home runs against Coastal Carolina, there's not much you can do. If you do that and your guys hit 3 balls to the warning track in Omaha and Bregman kicks a grounder and you lose to UCLA, that's not the coach's fault to me. That doesn't say he can't win in Omaha. He chokes in the put. No. The guys have got to go out there and play. He can't call play. You got to go play. It's the same reason he didn't call DJ LeMahieu hitting a 2-out, 2-run double in Game 1 of the Texas series to get that thing into a position where LSU could win it. It's just the players got to go play in the postseason. But he's in charge of making sure the roster's good enough to win the 56 and get out there and go play. And LSU fans, generally speaking, judge the season by where it ends. They don't care if you're the number 2 national seed and go up to Omaha and go 0-2. That's not good enough. So, by that narrative, you're judging the season by how it ends. Okay, well, let's judge this one by how it ends. Let's see if they get better and go make a little bit of a push. It doesn't meet my criteria. By my criteria, this is the 3rd year in a row where a team's not good enough to get a top 8. That's an issue to me. But it's baseball, and the season's not over till it's over. This is Coastal Carolina as a 4 seed, can go win the whole thing. Fresno State as a 4 seed, can go win the whole thing. Virginia was 5th in the ACC and won the whole thing. I'm not suggesting that LSU is going to win the whole thing. I'm just saying this is a sport where in the postseason wild things can happen, and my goal for LSU at this point to get in there and see what can happen if you throw Marceau and Labus out there in the first 2 games of a regional.
Last one, listener question wants to see more of Zach Arnold. What's up with him?
I believe this is not something Mainieri said, but his actions are speaking pretty loud. I think he just is uncomfortable with Arnold's defense at second base. And he's a middle infielder by trade, and he doesn't want guys out there who struggle to catch it on defense. I personally think you can hide somebody at second base. I'd rather have Cole Freeman out there or Jacoby Jones out there who are great second basemen. But if Arnold's going to hit a little bit for you, I don't think his misplays at second are going to cripple you. All you got to do is knock it down and throw it to first base. But I think that he prioritizes infield defense, and Arnold doesn't give him good enough infield defense.
Later, bro.
All right, guys.
Good to see you. Hunt Palmer from the LSU Sports Radio Network is here with us every Tuesday, dropping great knowledge. Doesn't matter the questions. He's got great feedback. Daily, we're brought to you by Relief Health. Remember, Relief Health is changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021, whether they can come to your office, whether they can come to your house. No more waiting rooms. Their comfort, healthcare in the comfort of your own home. Download the app this morning at Relief Health from Apple or your Google app stores. Get connected to a local doctor in your community. Remember, Relief will come on site for any employer and administer to the employees. They have the Moderna vaccine right now. Nurses will come to you for any testing or evaluation. Relief Health is the best and only way to get health care in 2021. Download the app this morning, Relief Health, from your Apple or Google app stores, or log online, reliefhealth.com. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show. Second hour coming at you. We'll talk to Beth Torina coming up at 8:30 this morning. Katie's back on the couch. We'll talk more about Kim Mulkey and yesterday's opening press conference, the NFL draft coming up on Thursday night. Lots to get to here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Second hour, driven and powered, just like every day, by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.show.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community, or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com, or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show, live here on this Tuesday morning. As we talked a lot of LSU baseball here in the front of the show. Thank you to Doug Thompson and Hunt Palmer for stopping by here. Hunt in studio at the UDL.
I didn't even know he was actually coming in studio until he just appeared in the doorway.
Well,
Hunt, when we mentioned
he's a
him.
studio guy.
He is.
He
Yeah,
likes
I
to
noticed
show
that.
up, which I always appreciate.
That's
Hunt
cool.
always shows up for his hits and always has great knowledge. And Hunt is he's got great opinions. He's got great knowledge, and he is versatile in our arena.
Yes, he's exactly what we need in terms of baseball, and then he can pivot to football. He just knows his shit.
He does.
He's
Absolutely.
a joy. Can we talk about the
yes, we
blood
can.
drive and jambalaya lunch before we forget about that?
Absolutely,
I know
'cause
we mentioned it Friday.
We're gonna be there on Saturday.
We're gonna be
morning.
there Saturday. It's 10:30 to 3:30.
Little Henry, bro.
Little Henry at the Baton Rouge Cardiology Center.
Got pics of Henry all over the studio.
We do have pics of Henry everywhere and on our social media, and the donor link is there too. And if you follow my Twitter, you saw that I made a donation the other day, and I was texting with Ryan when I was making the donation, and he sent me a picture. Henry was in the hospital getting an infusion, just like walking around with his little drip in, just the sweetest thing. So please support that and come visit with us, because we're going to be there at 10:30, Baton Rouge Cardiology Center. Right, everybody? Lloyd, you're going to be there at 10:30?
Well, yeah, I want to meet the superstar. The kid's cute as hell.
He is
Yes,
cute.
we're going to be there. Come eat some lunch with us and hang out and make a donation and help the Swallow family.
Yep, and we've got our tickets here for the blood drive. So make sure that you are buying yours as well. We'll get the links and the information up over
Drinks
at,
there? Just food?
I don't know about drinks. I think
You
just
pass
food.
out.
It is Louisiana.
Oh,
though,
you can't
so-
give blood and drink, can you?
Oh, probably
probably
not.
not.
Definitely pass
Probably not.
out.
I've only given blood. Went to give blood once because they told you could get out of practice. In high school, they're like, if you go give blood,
Yeah.
you can't do anything for like
That's
3
right.
hours. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Doesn't sound great. It's football practice right now in Louisiana.
Get a
So I
little piece
got
of hard
there.
candy.
Then I got the cold feet for the needles and stuff, and I usually don't care about that kind of stuff. And then luckily they pricked my finger, and I was like, well, that kind of hurt. Like, this is kind of bullshit. And then
Finger pricks worse.
yeah.
That's what-
And-
Whoa, what are y'all doing? What's
so
going on here?
I was trying to like bail and wiggle out the chair, and they said my iron level was too high, so I got lucky. I don't know what that means. Never followed up
You
on
got
anything
lucky
about that.
for
Just got you out of the
volunteer
blood
effort.
test.
Yeah, so that was
Get
perfect.
the hell out of here.
Yes.
Yes.
Hate to see it. I'm gonna go wander the halls and not go to class.
So Saturday, we'll see how that goes.
I'm not giving any blood.
Oh, you're
huh?
not?
I'll
Oh.
go and support. I don't know,
yeah,
dude.
well, I mean, they probably
Donate
don't want
plasma.
Lloyd's blood.
$200.
Don't want-
Oh, they don't.
They probably don't want Lloyd's blood.
God, I don't even
Here,
know what
just
to-
take the complimentary jambalaya and split.
I'll be there to entertain. I'll answer questions.
Remember, daily, we're brought to you by Nevadis over here on the Jordy Culotta Show. You see the hat every single day. In fact, I was over at Mulkey's press conference yesterday and had two people walk up to me because they recognized the hat.
I saw the hat. I saw
How
you with the
about
hat.
that?
Awesome.
I mean, bro, branding.
It
You know
is.
what I
You know
mean?
what? You turned
Branding.
around and looked at the camera right when they started the live stream, and I saw the hat.
The
It was
hat.
like it was like a slow model turnaround.
I mean,
It was great.
there you go, Randall.
I know,
We'll
I
put it
almost
in next
texted
month's
Randall.
bill. Nevadis designs and develops custom web and mobile applications that help businesses solve some of the most challenging pain points related to their staff, customers, and processes. We speak firsthand over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. They are helping us out, building us an app, helping us out with the website, but they can help you and your business out automate this morning, whether it's order management, quotes and invoices, asset tracking, task management, digitizing paperwork, and more. Check them out over at Nevadis.
Is it Nevadis with an I when you go to the website? IN or just
Yeah, it's at IN.
Okay.
IN.
It's
I
like
put these
innovators.
yeah.
They say innovators.
Just want to make sure.
People in the bunker want to talk about the Coach O and Coach Mulkey meeting. That video.
The don't man me.
Yes, don't man me. And a couple, I mean, like, I'm counting 3 Coach O impressions, which a lot of insiders on the circle there don't like.
doesn't
Coach
like
O
that.
being impersonated.
Wait, like
What do you
she
mean?
did an impression? Who did the impression?
She's done it 3 times when she was
Okay.
walking up to him
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
That one was
She was-
excellent.
I thought that was,
And he
probably
speaks
the-
a little French back to
yes,
her. Yeah.
comment ça va?
Yeah, very good
Yes,
interaction.
Yes, kind of like you're gonna try to impersonate me. All right, I'm gonna spin it back on you and give you a little French.
Ain't
Little
as dumb as
Cajun
I look.
French. That's right, exactly.
Funny.
And then yesterday at the press conference, when they introduced her and she walked up there, she said, as Coach O would say, "Go Tigers,"
Tigers.
and then on the way out, she said, as Coach O would say, "Go
Little heat
Tigers."
check on that
That's
one.
right,
Yeah.
that's right.
She's been a bully. Mainieri, Coach O.
Yes,
In
yes.
town.
Lifted up Paul, deadlifted him.
That was
Deadlifted
hilarious.
Mainieri at the airport, and then
What?
made a
It's
comment.
crazy.
Yes, the
I love it.
frozen
That-
pick is.
I know.
It's a classic.
It's great.
It's a classic.
We need
He
to
probably
hang
doesn't want
up
that
in
out
here.
there.
At this
We
point,
need to print it and hang
but-
it up on the wall.
And Mainieri is a tiger dropping reader.
Is he?
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
Wow.
I mean, he is infamous for having, or famous for having, his presser. I mean, the baseball press conference is in his office, right? Like he goes and he's sitting at his desk, and you just put, guys like Wilson Alexander who are there every single day. But this isn't happening now because they're not
It's on Zoom right now.
site. They're on Zoom, right? But when this was happening, Ross Dellinger, at some points when the Advocate staff was during turnover or they were running thin, they'd put Dellinger on the baseball beat just because they needed him out there. And Dellinger would come back and we'd be sitting around like just kind of like waiting to go into a football presser, or we'd be going to have a couple of drinks at Tin Roof and just kind of sharing stories. And Dellinger would show up and be like, "Holy shit!" He'd be like, "We were in Mainieri's office today, and we're sitting across the desk from him, and we've just got our recorders there, and you can like see the glare of his computer on the glass as we're sitting across, and he's got tiger droppings open."
No way.
Yes. And people are like, "No fucking way." And he's like, "I swear, man." And so like we're like,
Is he a printer?
it had to be anomaly. It had to be anomaly. So Dellinger's like, "I'm on it, bro. I'm investigating this. This is why I'm going to the Gaggles every week now. I'm going to see if Mainieri's surfing tiger droppings." And Dellinger would say, like, it would be like clockwork that he'd either have it like main screened or he'd have a tab of tiger droppings that was open during the day. And I mean, since then, the flame has been
Yes.
fanned. I mean,
Does
it
he
has.
comment on it? Does
I
he
don't
get
know if he would.
involved?
I don't know if he would comment.
Well, there's
No.
worse things that could be on your you could be caught looking at into a computer glare
sure,
for
right.
sure.
100%.
But tiger droppings is 100% on the list though. If you're a head coach at LSU,
If you're the head coach,
that gets a lot of pub on tiger droppings. None of it very good. So
Yeah,
him even being on the
absolutely.
website is also it's a probably not suited for work website for Paul.
no way, man.
Yeah.
Definitely an
IT's
NSFW.
checking.
Yes.
for sure. And if I'm his boss, I would want to know, like, Mainieri's back on tiger droppings. Like, what?
I wonder what his handle is, dude.
Not Paul Mainieri too.
Yeah, dude, he's got to have a handle, huh?
Not PM1.
That's awesome.
So, but I mean, like,
Wish I was Skip.
Mulkey, you wish I was Skip. Mulkey is like talking about the type of personality she is in this room, and she's like, "I'm the type of personality that if the coach isn't throwing to the tight end, I might go out there and say, run a play for the tight end to Coach O. Or if Paul Mainieri's leaving the pitcher in too long, I may say, take the pitcher out, Paul." And the whole crowd is like, "Ooh." And everybody like kind of looks back at Mainieri, and he is red.
Beat red, dude.
Just got this mask on, and his face is just like beating red coming out of the top of this mask.
It's like a high school lunchroom.
Just
Like-
kinda, you just kind of tell he's like thinking like,
WWE
Jesus, she's
monologue.
back. I mean, I had to deal with her for 3 years. She was bullying me, telling me how to deal with her kid. Now she's gonna be one of my co-workers.
New
And,
sheriff
dude,
in
she
town.
was up there. Any one of y'all can get it while I got this
Absolutely, bro.
microphone.
I mean, Governor John
Dude,
Bell Edwards.
yes.
She led off with him. Here's your mask, bro. Get this thing off my face.
It was a roast.
It was. It was an absolute
was.
roast. It was,
knows
it
what
was
we want.
nuts. Yeah, she does, man. I mean, 1,100 tickets in one day.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You know what I
will
mean?
do it.
And
Move the needle.
You hadn't even seen her in the gear yet. You hadn't even seen her wear the logo yet.
No, just a
No.
purple jacket.
I mean, it's gonna be wildfire. And like we said, and like Scott Woodward pointed to yesterday, Kim Mulkey comes to LSU at a time when they are desperate for leadership, desperate for direction, desperate for, at the lowest ring of what's going on, public relations. Kim Mulkey brings that all in one swoop and one hire. I mean, if you look at the ticker, if you look at the the news wire, if you look at the websites and the shows and the radio and the television and the webs and YouTube stations, everywhere is talking about Kim Mulkey joining LSU, and it's on a day that LSU is back in the news, where 7 women are suing LSU, alleging violations in how they handled Title IX complaints. So this story of LSU is continuing to grow and continuing to really bud up every single day. I mean, there's something dealing with the fallout. There's something dealing with allegations. There's something dealing with the way that it's going to be handled, or there's new cases that are falling out from this. And while, again, I'm not saying that Mulkey is the savior, she is at least a point in the right direction of change, of understanding. She mentioned it yesterday in the presser. She didn't shy away from it. That she was coming in a time that LSU needed her, and she was ready to respond to that. And it was something, obviously, that Woodward, in that 10 to 15 minute conversation that she noted yesterday that they had in the salesmanship of this job, of selling LSU's women's job to Mulkey, it didn't sound like it took much, but it sounded like that was a bullet point.
Has to.
That was something that he was selling, that was highlighting that, Coach, LSU needs you. The state needs you. The people need you. And she was ready. And she's here to answer that. And coming in the answer is going to be a lot of truth. It's going to be that press conference. There's going to be a roast. It's going to be walking the halls. I mean,
Slapping binders.
absolutely.
There's got to be some accountability.
Anybody watch Entourage in here?
Yeah.
Remember when Ari bought the agency?
Yeah.
And he walked in with the gun? And he walked into everybody's office and he was just blowing them up. You're done. Ta, 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 ta.
Yes.
Get out of here. Just blowing people up. I mean, not that you can get away with that in 2021. It's not 2003 anymore, but that's the picture she's painting. I mean, that's the picture I'm painting to you of what the LSU athletics office is going to be like with her walking the halls. What's the purpose? What do you do? Why are you here? And if you have a good explanation and you've got production, keep it moving. But the dead weight is about to start getting trimmed, right? And we can all agree that LSU probably needs to upgrade their landscape.
That tree needs to be...
It needs to be pruned.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and here comes someone ready, willing, with experience.
And able. Passion,
energy. I mean, Kim Mulkey, to me, is so relatable. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's when I hear her speak, I get what she's saying, man. I mean, a lot of how she says it is very intense, and people would take that as either angry or mad, when she's really just point and directed in what she wants and how she wants to get it done. And like she described yesterday, that's just a lot of passion. That's just a lot of love. That's not anger. That's not hate. That's not trying to be, contradictory or create conflict. That's just trying to get shit done at a place that needs to be getting shit done.
Needs a kick in the ass.
Absolutely. Yeah. It does. And you could kind of sense in the room yesterday, the people kind of sitting up straight, listening, kind of saying, all right.
There's power in the room.
Now it's starting to get here. Now Scott Woodward, without the handcuffs of COVID-19 and the limitations of budgets and not putting people in the stands and not dealing with regular fiscal budgets and having access to that type of operation, money is starting to come back, or he's starting to at least say, hey, this is why you got me here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring people in that are going to create change. I mean, we can debate. I mean, this move, his first hire, is going to be what he is judged upon, right?
Oh, it
Yeah.
sets the tone.
Absolutely.
We're going to open up the piggy bank. We're going to crack it. And that's what you want, an athletic director.
100%.
Not only that, but imagine any other hire coming in and doing that press conference the way she did it, taking shots at everybody essentially. But if that's not Kim Mulkey, we're going into today going, who the hell do they think she is? Like, to come in and take shots, to take something, or take somebody that knows the area, knows the landscape, and obviously has been here before to help. But just her absolute, like, come in and dominate a room and nobody feels safe.
That's the way. That's what LSU needs, man.
I couldn't see another head coach coming in and doing that. Like, taking shots at a national championship, 2 national championship winning head coaches.
No, and look so comfortable in
Right.
doing it, and look like she wants more, right? I mean, it's a new day at LSU. I'm telling you, it is. It's going to be different for Will Wade, for better or for worse.
He's the only one that didn't catch anything.
You know what I mean? He didn't even know Nikki Fargas. He knew Nikki Fargas because they had to show up to the same mandated meetings because they worked at the same university.
So they didn't really have a personal relationship.
Nothing to the degree of what he'll have to have
Yeah.
with Kim Mulkey, because they'll be sharing offices,
Yeah.
they'll be sharing practice facilities, they'll be
Ticket
sharing
packages.
practice plans if I'm Will Wade. You know what I mean? I would, and not telling Wade how to handle the relationship, I'm just saying the access that you have to a national champion, gold medal winning head coach, somebody that's being inducted to the Naismith Hall of Fame, that's going to be presented by Michael Jordan. What a resource.
Yeah.
What an incredible resource if you're a basketball player at LSU to have Kim Mulkey at your disposal. I mean, to be able to resource her, to say, hey, coach, I've been thinking about doing this. Can you give me an idea how to get there? Absolutely. Back in 2007, when I was coaching Brittany Griner, who was the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, we did X, Y, and Z. Thank you, coach. In fact, I can get Brittany on the phone for you right now. I mean, that is just a miniature example of who is now in that department and walking those halls. And the news yesterday around LSU was still bad, right? Yep. That 7 lawsuits were being filed seeking more than $5 million in damages from former workers, former employees, former students at LSU that say the violations in how Title IX complaints were handled. And even going back to the news over the weekend, I think that the biggest and best show of action for LSU up to this point has been moving on from Taylor Porter, their longtime legal representative.
So the
over
reason
80
they
years.
cut those ties is because they don't believe that Taylor Porter gave the information to everyone on the board. Only gave it to like 3 people.
Well, that's what they're alleging. That's what they're saying. And by the way, Stanley Jacobs, who's one of those board members that they're saying inside of those reports who had the news on Miles,
He was one of the 3.
he was one of the
Supposedly,
3
okay.
sitting in the front row yesterday
Yeah.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
LSU side.
Hot water.
But when I guess that's it, what they're using as their out. But
Yeah.
the way that the reason why I'm for more or less complimenting LSU for making that move is the good old boy network. Cut that stuff out, man. That 80-year relationship stuff at LSU when you're dealing with allegations and stuff like that. It's time to bring fresh, new faces, voices, leadership, Kim Mulkey's of the world. And while she doesn't exist in every sector, right? I mean, there's not the Kim Mulkey of the trade within every single corner of what you need as far as running your university day to day. But when you have access and can go get somebody like that, you have to make that move. I mean, telling me that the years that Darius Geis wasn't here, didn't exist, does nothing for me.
We still saw
Right.
it.
Not that you're trying to
Celebrate it.
to appease me, but I'm just saying, as a consumer, as a fan, as somebody who is supportive of the program and wants to see the best for the program in the future and make sure that this type of crap never happens again, telling me the Geis years didn't happen doesn't do anything for me. Give me the protocols and the process of how it's never going to happen again.
I was going to ask, where do you go from this? What's the next step? God forbid if this story keeps opening up closer to the football season. Man, that's the last thing you want.
Well,
That's
I mean,
the last thing.
you got to get out in front of it. And I think different legal representation will probably do good for LSU.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like what happened with Will Wade during his situation. When he brought in his new lawyer, he looked at his stuff and said, who the hell has been advising you, man? Like, send the letter to your athletic, get in front. I mean, and just like that, he's reinstated. I mean, just like that. New legal representation, new eyeballs, fresh ears, fresh face, fresh somebody to look at somebody and say, what's been going on? Here's the deal. What? Y'all been doing what? No. Hell no. Don't do that anymore. I mean, I think that's what LSU needs. That Kim Mulkey, a fresh face, a fresh voice. I mean, Ed Ogeron after Les Miles. I mean, how refreshing was Ed Ogeron after dealing with Les Miles just publicly? This is before you knew that this guy was a disgusting pervert behind the scenes, right? Like that he was worried about everything but coaching the program.
Hitting on
Worried more about chasing tail than recruiting athletes.
Well married.
But how refreshing was Ogeron that came in and gave you transparency into the program, gave you names of people that were in position battles. We're talking about the football program like he cared about it, and look at what the outcome was. And look at what the outcome continues to be. I mean, last year was terrible by the standards that they have set for the program. But doesn't it feel like the momentum is rolling back in the direction of a championship level of a program?
Yeah.
I mean, how refreshing was that? How refreshing was Kim Mulkey yesterday? How refreshing was Scott Woodward when he was brought in after listening to Oliva fumble over words and sentences for a decade? I mean, at some point, change or new faces and voices of people that are pulling in the same direction and want the same things. How refreshing was Will Wade after Johnny Jones? That press conference yesterday felt a lot like being at Will Wade's press conference 4 years ago in the student union, where people were hanging over the banister, the stairwells, chanting LSU and "We love Will Wade." I mean, it felt a lot like that. LSU needs that.
Yeah, it's more than anything.
They need to smoke out all that stuff, man.
You know, the thing is,
All the Taylor Porters of the 80-year relationships, the 80-year legal that just feels grimy.
it just shows just how dirty big-time college football is. Because I know right now it's pinned on LSU, but that happens everywhere. I'm not talking sexual assault. The lack of compliance, looking the other way, blind eye because this kid brings in money, 80-year dirty old business. It's just grimy.
Well, I mean, and it just goes to show with even a person like Geis, who is a Baton Rouge native, who people have gone to the extent of, I mean, the stories of what Dale Weiner was doing for Darius Geis. And I'm not talking about anything illegal. I'm talking about what Dale Weiner was doing every single morning after coaching high school football for over 40 years and dealing with thousands, tens of thousands, and that might even be hundreds of thousands of athletes during that time. In probably his second to last year, probably his 39th year of coaching, he's driving from his house every single morning to pick Geis up to make sure that he's at school on time. out of trouble. I mean, the lengths of people went to help out Geis, and for nobody at some point to stand up and say, hey, look, all this covering up we're doing for this guy is going to come back and bite us in the ass. Mm-hmm. This is not making any sense for what we're trying to accomplish. Yes, he's good, but how good is the university going to be 7 or 8 years from now when it come to find out we've been covering up alleged rape for this guy?
But they created that for him. Like, he always was covered for. So, like, he never got in trouble. So why stop?
That's all of them.
Yeah.
Well,
they created that.
The snowball's rolling downhill at that point.
Yeah.
And you can't stop it.
But I don't know. I mean, do you think he deserves to have, like, everything removed from... You do? From the record books?
I think that he deserves no access to the facility ever again. I don't think that taking his name out of the record book means anything. If you want to disassociate yourself with him because of what he meant during his time there, I get it. I understand that. And I wouldn't allow him back on campus, and I wouldn't have a relationship 1,000 miles from him. But erasing his records and telling me to act like it didn't exist is not going to wash away the images, the images that I have of Geis at LSU. And in fact, to me, if I'm sitting inside of that strategy meeting where we're talking about how do you handle the Geis situation, I would have stood up and said during that point, guys, if we do that, if we take him out of the record books, do you understand every Saturday that LSU plays Texas A&M from here until 1,000 years, they're going to replay that Geis image of him setting the LSU rushing record?
Right, so are they not going to do that now?
Yes, they're going to do it now more intentionally.
That makes no
so
sense.
Now it's going to bring more attention to Geis at LSU rather than just saying, leave it alone.
Yeah.
But just saying, moving forward, we're disassociating with Geis. But now it's going to be an asterisk on the media packet when you hand it to them and say that Darius Geis did set the rushing record, but since they decided to retroactively punish him by taking his name out of the record books, that doesn't exist, which is going to give a storyline to the play-by-play and color commentator when the game is in balance or there's a time where it gives you a chance to say something and say, hey, remember that running back Darius Geis that backed up Leonard Fournette's first 2 years here? He's not a part of the LSU record books because of X, Y, and Z. But here was his performance versus Texas A&M back in, and you're just going to see it.
Yeah, it's going to keep calling
on loop. Rather just leave that stuff where it was, man.
What they're doing is they are pointing fingers in the room, and they're running out of people to point at. And it comes a time where they have to point the finger at themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you even saw them. I mean, a lot of this stuff that came out on Friday, and you'll see that. That's when you dump the news, because Friday going into the weekend, a lot of people just think hopefully it'll just kind of get washed up and you won't talk about it. But on Friday, they came out with the Geis stuff. They're disassociating themselves with Geis for moving forward. They're taking his name out of the record books for what he accomplished at LSU, which, like I said, does nothing for me. It does nothing for me.
Right.
Also play.
You saw.
I'll forget the Florida play. I mean,
right. You want to forget that, but you still see it. And then they fired Taylor Porter after 80 years of that relationship. And you continue to see, more come from that. So, I just think that the Geis situation is, it feels disgusting.
Yeah. It's just dirty college football.
It just feels dirty.
The overpassion just kills. The turning the blind eye, lack of accountability.
Travis McGraw just put it up for 4 courtside tickets to women's basketball. I'm telling you, that thing will be sold out by game 1.
Yeah.
Daily, we're brought to you here by Edward Jones. Remember, over at Edward Jones, Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Get in touch with our guy over there, Daniel Newman, out in Central today, as he can help you get set up with your 401k like he's helping us out. We rolled over our 401k, and Daniel has been helping with that tremendously. Very easy. He's always reminding us about his expertise in helping out the field with the plant workers. If you work at Dow, if you work at Exxon, if you work at BASF, and you've got or any of the surrounding plants, and you've got questions about your financial status, whether it be present day or what's going on with your Social Security or your 401k or any benefits that you may have, get in touch with Daniel. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com is where you can get in touch with him. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com is how you can email and get in touch with Daniel, as he's located out in Central and can help you out this morning and getting set up with all of your financial questions that you may have. Remember, we're on YouTube. We appreciate you being there, as we appreciate the interaction. A lot of you watching yesterday as we carried the Mulkey event live. Today is the day, the deadline for the UDL shirts, if you want to get in. And we've actually opened up a new item as well with the tie-dye.
Lloyd's
Oh.
tie-dye.
yes. I do. Obviously, had to wash it. Got to take care of that
So
thing.
you don't have it on today.
You
Yeah.
got insecure with the comments.
No,
You did.
it's just because I know Steele very well. We were roommates, so
Okay.
he knows all my dark and dirty secrets. So yes, he was
knew-
right
he
on.
knew
He was
you
right
weren't
on.
washing that
He put me
thing.
in the crosshairs and just pulled the trigger.
That's going to be a special order. Y'all have to tell me your sizes so I can special order those. That's all on our social media.
Shout out to Red Stick Sports for helping us out with that,
Yeah.
with our store. So jordy.itemorder.com is where you can get in touch with Red Stick Sports and get your latest gear.
Get those UDL shirts. This is the last day, y'all.
All right, we will get set up for Beth Torina next here on the Jordy Culotta show. We'll talk to Coach Torina for the first time. We'll ask her the impact of Kim Mulkey from her seat and the expectation, but Coach Torina's got him rolling again, just like she does every single year. Maybe the most consistent coach on campus. When you talk about just start to finish, you know what you're going to get. She's going to be productive at a high level, going to have her crew ready in a position that's going to be competitive in the postseason. And here come the Tigers down the stretch yet again on Coach Torina's watch. We look forward to our conversation with Coach Beth next, right here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every single day by Go Chevrolet.
Numbers are strong.
Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022, 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.com to learn more. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet every single day. My favorite coming up here, as we've been talking about, it has been too long. We've been on the air too long and making her debut here. The most consistent head coach on campus, I say one of the best softball coaches in the country.
Get choked up talking about it.
I do. Goes without saying. But when you talk about just every single year, you know what you get from her crew. And here they come again down the home stretch. Arkansas this weekend. Clean up another doubleheader on the weekend. I know that it was dealing with some weather up there in Lexington. But Beth Torina is with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. It's good to talk to you. The crew was out yesterday inside of the Maravich Center. I believe I saw you over there as Kim Mulkey was introduced as the new LSU women's head basketball coach. We were talking about what a great resource she is for the entire department. From your seat, what was that hire like? What does that mean to you and the staff?
Yeah, it was a really fun night and a great day for LSU. I was excited just to be a part of it, and thinking about the future of LSU and with her around, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I agree with you completely. Welcoming her wisdom and her guidance, I think she'll make all of us around for better.
Coach, another successful weekend for you in Lexington. A slow start, you lose the opener, and then the doubleheader, which your crew has been tremendous in. This season. I don't know if you have any science behind that on why you've been so dominant in the two games, but what was your takeaway from Lexington going into Arkansas this weekend?
That is a great question, and I'm open to answers. We've spent a lot of time thinking about it, but I actually think we played significantly better in game one. Just didn't get a break, and didn't play great defense either. So I think that the offense was spectacular this weekend, one of the best offensive outputs we've had this year. So I was really proud of them, and hopefully if we can keep them going and keep them confident, we'll be in good shape the rest of the way. I think, that's what we had been searching for, was that explosive offense that we know we're capable of. So to see that happen, especially at a place like Kentucky where they've historically kept us to really low numbers offensively, it was a really great weekend.
What have you made of your defense this season? Everybody's talking about Aaliyah, and we'll get to her. She's one of the top 25 players in the country and up for the award, for the postseason award. But what have you made of your defense this season?
Yeah, the defense is young. I think anytime you have a freshman shortstop, and I guess not a true freshman, a COVID freshman, whatever we're calling them, but, we have a freshman playing shortstop, I think you're always going to have a little bit of an adventure, and ours is spectacular. She's really, really special. So, we haven't felt it as much as some others, but I still think, having some veteran leadership at that position is always big. So with every game that she's out there and the rest of our young kids, we have young players all over the field. We've, had a true freshman at second quite a bit of the year, COVID freshman in the other two outfield positions, sophomores at first and catcher. So I think every game they take the field, they're better, a lot like Coach Mainieri's group. These guys are growing up every time they're on the field. So I think you're going to see completely different teams at the end of the season.
Back to Aaliyah Andrews, your senior outfielder. She's named one of top 25 finalists for USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year. That was announced going into the weekend. I can't imagine there's 25 better softball players on this planet than she is. Coach, it feels like we take for granted how good of a defender she is just because we see the highlights all the time. How good is she, and how much pressure does she take off of the entire group just knowing that she's back there kind of roaming in center field?
Yeah, when I'm looking through the other team's offense and I see somebody that has a lot of doubles, I completely am not concerned,
Right.
Just because I feel like, well, they're going to have a few less doubles this weekend because we're going to take some of those away.
Right.
But she's, I describe her all the time as just a superhero. It's literally like she's flying around the outfield, and the things she does for this team, this program, this community, I think the sport of softball are just incredible. She is an incredible person and player, and just stands up for what's right. She's learned to use her voice for so many things, just the game and outside the game, and I'm just really proud of her.
Good morning, Coach. We are in the heart of SEC play right now, and you guys got a hard series coming up against Arkansas. What makes this team so good?
Arkansas's team? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Arkansas they're really good. They're having quite a year. They really can pitch. They have 3 very different looks on the mound, including an All-American, that throws a drop ball over 70 miles an hour, not something that you see very often. She's really good. And then she hasn't even been their number 1 all year. Their number 1 has been Mary Half, who is the exact opposite of her, spinning rise ball and a changeup. So they're really tough to prepare for with the different looks that they bring on the mound. And that's been a big thing for them. They also have lived and died by the home run ball. So they have a ton of power, a big power offense that they're bringing. And, they're able to do some late game heroics with their home runs. So, we're going to have to really keep them in the park.
We haven't talked in a while. I'm sorry, and I appreciate your time here on this Tuesday for joining us. What has it been like the last year being a head coach, just dealing with everyday life and trying to put a competitive softball team together? What has that been like from your point of view? We've talked to so many people. What has some of the stories been from your eyes?
Yeah, it's been a challenge, and it's been one challenge after another, honestly. Yeah. So I think a lot of, we've had a long April where we've been on the road the entire month of April, but it's been so good for us because our team's actually gotten to be together, and they missed so much team time, in the fall with small groups and doing things that getting them together. Just even, a rain out day, they're hanging out in the hotel and playing cards or seeing a movie, doing regular stuff. And that's been really nice because we've missed so much of that with them. So it's been challenging. It's not just COVID. It's, the social climate of our country. It's, last week we lost Mayor Beth Gorsuch's dad, which has been terrible for this program. He was such a big supporter of her and us. So it's been challenge after challenge, but I'm proud of the resiliency of my team. I'm proud of how they continue to persevere through it. And we've taken some lumps, but we played the number 1 strength of schedule in the country and then some. When you look at the math, we're so far above number 2. It's pretty crazy. So these guys are battle tested, and it's going to pay off for them. I know it.
Coach, it seems like you've had an Andrews in center field for almost a decade, and I think that comes to an end this year with Aaliyah being a senior. There's one more lurking out there in the age of the transfer portal. Did we go scoop up the youngest sister?
I think she's done playing softball. I thought she was.
I think she's a sophomore. Right. I just looked it up.
We have had an Andrews for 9 of my 10 years here at LSU, and the whole family has just been so awesome for our program and just what they represent. They have raised 3 really strong women. I hope one day I can say the same about my own daughters, that I've raised 3 really strong women just like them. So it's been a real blessing to have them part of this program.
Back to the strength of schedule, Coach, and I got to imagine what you're saying in paying dividends for you in the postseason. How have you seen that start to develop? I mean, how have you seen the way that you've been tested up to this point really start to get your crew ready and mentally ready for the next challenge?
Yeah, it's been tough. I don't think we gave enough credit to how young our team was when the season started and what we were putting them through. I think, we felt like, they've all been here and they've been here for a year, but a huge chunk of them had never even played in an SEC game, let alone a series against somebody that's ranked in the top 25. So it has been a challenge. I think there was a point where we had to explain to them, like, you guys aren't going to hit 400. Your ERAs aren't going to be sub 1, but it doesn't matter because we're going to win games. And that's all that matters really at the end of it, is that we're winning games. So I think the challenges they've been through will pay off. They've seen it all. So whoever we are sent for the postseason, however that goes on Selection Show Sunday, we're going to have seen something similar to it before. So I think they will be ready and battle tested, and I feel like they have earned the right to be confident against whoever walks in here on Selection Show Sunday.
Coach, it's such a great atmosphere at Tiger Park. I love to take the family. My daughter likes to go. Tell our listeners why it's so special.
Well, I think it's so close. You're so close to the action. I think our players are really relatable. I think they do a great job with the fans. And softball, just fun, man. Fast-paced. They play hard. So I do think it's a great place to bring your family and watch a game.
Coach, I do not throw stones from my glass house of crazy parents because I've been known to go wild on a Little League field a time or two. But I hear that the craziest parent may be on a young softball field, and it's a good friend of mine, Jesse McCormick, who plays with a young Torina. Any words of advice for crazy parents out there?
Well, I try hard to not be the crazy parent. I sit behind the outfield fence so I can try to keep it down. But they're both, or my two oldest girls are on the team with Haley. Haley's quite a hitter.
Yes.
They had a home run with a cast on last game.
Wow.
So, yeah. Then
Wow.
the 8 and under dirt dogs are really having a great year. So it's so fun. It gives me a lot of perspective when I go out there, and I find myself telling the 8-year-olds the same things I'm telling the Tigers. Like, you caught it! Yes.
What a cool experience for those kids to look back on. I mean, they probably think it's just everyday life that
Yeah.
people get the LSU softball coach to lead
How
them, but they always-
intimidating to be in the outfield. Beth Torina's
Right,
out there.
right.
My goodness, have a day. Might get a Scully.
Right. Jesse said he'll make a comment, he'll look over, and coach will be looking at him like, no, that's wrong, you idiot. You're wrong, you moron. Just keep your mouth shut. Best of luck this weekend versus the Hogs, coach. We'll be out there. Thank you for the time this morning.
You got it. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
There's Coach Beth Torina checking in this morning from LSU softball. A great environment at Tiger Park if you are looking for something to do with the kids.
Take the
as she
family.
said. Yes, I'm telling you, man. It kind of has what Alec Box is missing. I mean, you talk about like the outfield. You can go sit on the hill.
Yeah.
You can get outside. You
Yeah.
can kind of. I mean,
That
you
is
can
nice.
kind of take it all in. You can. It's just a great environment, and Coach Torina is absolutely the best. We appreciate her for stopping by here on the Jordy Culotta show. As they got 3 this weekend versus Arkansas. Is that they'll crank that one up on Friday night.
I wish I would have asked her because she said a lot of pitches that I've never heard of.
Drop.
Drop ball, a rise ball. How many
like-
different ways can you throw a softball?
I mean, a 75-mile-an-hour drop ball.
what is
Seriously.
what's the equivalent of that to a baseball? Like what's a drop ball?
I mean, I guess it would be a curveball, huh? I mean, I guess a drop
little
ball.
12-6?
I mean, yeah, just kind of like fall off the table.
70?
Coach,
They're close, dude.
bailing out,
Yes.
bailing out.
Crazy.
Have you ever I don't know what you've done and not done, but have you ever gotten out to like a softball field against a softball pitcher?
I have not. I have
We
not,
don't know what you've done or
I've
not done.
stood. I've not.
Well, I don't know
stood-
what opportunities he's afforded with his illustrious career as a broadcaster.
I don't know. I have not stood in the batter's box versus a fast pitch softball.
Would you?
I have seen Ashley Rush, Gordy's wife, who is an All-American softball player.
I didn't know that.
Play here.
Jenny Finch of the South.
Absolutely, I've seen her pitch underhand from the.
They're close, dude.
bro. And I
think
was
it's
like,
60 feet.
Yeah, are
No,
you
they're like
kidding
40
me?
feet. We're
Are
60
you
feet 6 inches on
kidding
the.
me? Oh, look, there's Nick Torina, Beth's husband, inside of the bunker.
wow.
My man, talk about good dudes, bro. The best. What up, Nick? So he says it's a splitter. He
Okay.
says a drop
Oh.
ball is a splitter.
At 70?
What is a Nick? What's a rise ball? What's a rise ball? And how many pitches are there? I guess we left a lot of questions.
did
on
I
that.
know.
a lot
I
of
left
questions
him on
on
the
the
cutting room
table.
floor. We just
Guess
call
we
her
left-
back.
Yeah, I guess we left him on the floor.
Hold
Hey,
on,
coach,
Beth.
we got a couple. Jesse asked that we called you back.
Commercial break wasn't quite long enough.
Jesse's stories about looking over at Torina during some of the softball games after he's like the crazy parent. She's like looking at him with like just eyes wide, like shaking her head like, you crazy idiot. You don't even know what you're talking about, you moron.
You're just
I
mad.
mean, you might want counseling, bro.
They're throwing splitters out there.
Have you ever played on a softball team?
I have.
Like
Yeah, I played on an ancient athlete team.
has everyone in here played on a softball team?
No, I played
played baseball.
softball.
You played
Yeah.
softball?
I play baseball.
The Mackle brothers, Fletcher and Travers Mackle down in New Orleans, still play fast pitch baseball.
That's overhand.
Jeez.
Fast pitch baseball.
Yeah.
coach.
What?
Well, no,
What?
well,
What do
there's
you mean fast pitch baseball?
Like a regular.
like
No,
real
they're-
baseball.
Yeah, I guess they play
So
real
it's just
baseball,
right?
Yeah, they play real
I
baseball.
was like, wait, is there another
No,
type
but
of
I've
baseball?
I've played in the league in New Orleans that it's overhand, but they're not gunning it at you. It's
Oh,
like
you
a little
can do
cat head.
overhand
Rise ball.
softball?
Rise ball is a four-seamer.
Oh.
I guess it's all. I don't know.
Wait, so when men play softball, is it overhand?
No, it's
Pitch.
underhand.
It's
And
underhand.
but,
You get
it's, but
drunk.
it's not fast pitch.
No, you're up there lobbing it.
I mean,
and
you're
you're
just
ducking
kinda-
for cover.
Yeah, you're just kind of throwing. I mean, you're throwing ornaments up there.
Yes.
Just you just smash this thing.
Okay. Okay.
In fast pitch softball, I mean, you've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean,
When you went out to Tiger Park,
I'd
Yeah,
bail out.
It's
Family.
crazy.
I mean,
I mean, those arms.
going
Um,
underhand.
Nuts.
It's
it is crazy.
It is that. I mean, they are athletes. Like, I don't know how they do that.
Daily, we're brought to you here on the Jordy Culotta Show by Hub International Insurance. Remember, Hub International is the official insurance agency of the Jordy Culotta Show, the New Orleans Saints and the New Orleans Pelicans. check out Hub International today, how they can help your company out. Hub International, the official insurance agency of the New Orleans Pelicans, Saints, and the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be back and close it out here as it has been a good show. Special thanks to Beth Torina, Doug Thompson, Hunt Palmer, all stopping in, talking, and giving some thoughts on Beth Torina. The NFL draft is coming up.
I've got some draft
on
questions
Thursday
for you when
night.
we get back.
Yeah,
Let's do some draft questions when we get back here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.show.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. The interview might be Nick Torina. I mean, my man's
Maybe
dropping.
so.
My man is coming in here. So a 70-mile-an-hour pitch in softball is equivalent to a 98 to 101-mile-an-hour fastball in baseball coming at you.
And it's moving.
That's
Four-seamer
crazy.
is the rise ball. Low ball is the splitter.
They got a knuckler in there?
Nick says you got a screwball, you got a curveball, you got a change
Screwballs.
up, you got a rise ball, you got a drop ball, you got a fastball.
I'm just playing air flute. I didn't realize we
Sid-
were back on.
Should we, so no knuckler. No knuckler?
knuckle.
No knuckle. I guess that would be the change.
Yeah.
That could be a change.
circle
That could be a
change.
change. A screwball, a curveball, a changeup, a rise, a drop, and a fastball.
Do they throw it overhand? If you look
All
at the
questions
does it
we
come
should
like
have asked
this,
her
or
when
it
she
comes
was
like
on.
this?
It comes like
This
this,
has to be a pitch though.
That's
The-
probably the changeup.
That might be the drop ball.
Oh.
Because you can't split a softball. It's too big.
Thank you, Lloyd.
My buddy used to sleep with a softball in between his fingers,
Wait, what? Okay, I didn't know
so he
where
could
you were
throw a
going
splitter
that.
with a baseball.
What, did it work?
What?
Yeah, yes, nasty splitter.
Really?
Yeah, he would put a softball in between his
I've
fingers
never
before he
heard
went
of
to
that.
bed. His dad played in the big,
I
so he was
totally
like,
thought
"I'm
you
gonna
were
make it."
Little
Going
trick-
with my
little
buddy.
trick-
Yeah, tricks on
sleep
the
with a
tray. Don't
softball
sleep on
player.
that. Yeah, you don't sleep on the glove, dude. Don't do that. You sleep with the softball between your fingers.
Did he make it?
Strange.
Don't tell him that. Very good at softball.
Hey.
He gives,
Best softball player I've ever seen? Jason Williams, former LSU baseball shortstop.
well, I bet.
But I'm telling you, still like present day. I mean, I'm talking about like he was the shortstop after Rush Johnson, bro. I'm talking like late 90s. He still hits a softball out of sight. Out of sight. Ancient Athletes had a kid named Ryan Lewis, was a quarterback for Central High School. It's actually Ashley Lewis's younger brother. It's Gordy's
Oh, okay.
nephew. or brother-in-law. Ryan Lewis is the best ancient athlete softball player I've ever seen. Jason Williams was playing in Jacques' tournament, and he is a traveling softball player. Like, he is one of, like, I think we had somebody inside of the bunker say they still have grown men leagues where,
Yeah, Nookie said that.
100-mile-an-hours. Like, he plays, Jason Williams would play in a league like that. Ryan Lewis, who played quarterback at Central, I believe he's a coach now at East Ascension. A great athlete, a phenomenal athlete. Hits a softball. It sounds
Terrifying.
It's terrifying. It sounds different. You know what I mean? Like, there is a lot of people in ancient athletes that can hit a softball a long way. I mean, Pat Walker, this guy is like 6'4", 250. He can throw a football the length of a field. He can hit a softball into the night.
It literally hits different.
Oh, nice.
When Ryan Lewis hits it, it literally
It's
I
different.
feel like y'all are surprised.
slams a little different.
What?
Okay.
They can't hit it like. Imagine playing third base, dude.
No.
Like,
No.
We used to I was on like a fraternity team or whatever, and the cat that played third was obviously a lunatic. He would just sit there with a cigarette in his mouth and just post up like a goalie, and he was just like, huh, huh. It was like, it was like Happy Gilmore. He's like, gotta get ready for hockey season, but he
What
would
an
just
animal.
with the dart in and just take them. We're like, well, we know he's playing third, so we're good there. We'll figure it out after that. But
Okay, can we talk about the NFL draft now?
Yes.
Because I'm really trying to learn about this, and now we're ending day 2, and we have not talked about it yet.
So what would be your biggest question of the draft?
I mean, I put it all in the document. I had no idea.
her biggest question is, what is it?
Well, now I know. I mean, I've been doing the research, but I've never really followed it, and I don't understand, like, the mock draft thing. But did you know that the first draft was only 90 players, and now there are more than 3,000 eligible now? That's how it started.
There are 3,000 eligible players.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it started with a pool of only 90 people.
Well, technically, everybody's eligible. I could get drafted
Sure.
if they wanted to.
Sure.
Okay.
I'd turn them
But,
down.
I mean,
Okay.
isn't it a selection of the combine?
Yeah.
And I think there's only so many selections that you can make. I mean, I guess you could walk up there and say, I'll choose Lloyd Courtney.
Right, that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
seven rounds.
You could.
There's 32 picks and 7
Well,
rounds.
I
This is
didn't
your
know how
job.
important the combine was either, that it, like, gave people, like, a real leg up
Well, there was
I
no
didn't-
combine this year. You only had pro days.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of COVID.
So there might be crazy little shakeups in the 4th and 5th round, or on people's big boards because there was.
So do y'all do, like, a mock
No.
Y'all
a
don't
mock
get in- y'all don't get
draft
into mock
is
drafting?
to create interest. Is
Yeah.
for people like us. Is for people to just get clicks. You
Yeah.
know, really. I mean, but the draft is an animal.
Yeah,
I mean, because it's college football.
right.
It's college football and the NFL tied into one product. I mean, think about the passion that people have for both of those businesses. Mm-hmm. You know, especially the first round. You know, I mean,
Oh,
that's
definitely.
why they've made
Yeah.
the first round a prime time standalone event.
It used to be in the morning.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it was
did?
like Saturday morning.
Yeah, I remember waking up for the Jamarcus Russell draft, and like get on the couch. I remember the Reggie Bush draft. Like I had to like wake up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's 7 o'clock at night. Like you can't miss it.
Oh, it's
On
prime time
Thursday.
television, man.
So who are your picks? Like, who do y'all think Trevor Lawrence
Yeah,
is
he's
like
done.
number 1 pick?
Yeah, I mean, he's already donated.
Zach Wilson's done too.
He's
going
already
to.
donating to
Yeah.
charities in the Jacksonville area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Trevor.
Is that premature to do things
No.
like that? That's,
No,
that's
they-
a normal thing.
I'm
People
su-
in Jacksonville have bought gifts off his wedding registry for him already.
way.
Yeah. Got a $300 toaster.
Really?
Wow.
God, that's specific. Okay.
Different bread settings you could do probably.
Yeah. it'd be-
Lots of different.
$300.
He's probably
Jeez,
the
you put a
biggest-
bagel in that kind of toaster.
You better be able
You
to.
better be able to fit a bagel in
English
there.
muffin for my guy.
Woo.
Amen.
He's probably the biggest lock since Andrew Luck.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
Probably
McShay
so.
said that. Said he went back. It's like there's nobody been this much of a number 1 pick since Andrew Luck.
If I'm a San Francisco 49er fan, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is off the board. Zach Wilson is off the board at number 2 to the New York Jets. And it seems like San Francisco gave up some draft capital a couple of weeks back to make a move for a specific player. You referenced Todd McShay. He was bringing up Mac Jones when this move was made, quarterback out of Alabama.
Bag of milk.
Since
Bag of milk.
then, Trey Lance has made a move, and it seems like somebody in San Francisco has got some speculation on who is making the decision. Now, ultimately, it falls at Kyle Shanahan's feet. He's a quarterback guy. He's an offensive guy. He's the play caller. But you got to imagine that, or at least the word on the street seems to be that if you're giving up all this stuff, man, and you made the trade, they could have gotten Mac Jones where you were.
Could have gotten Trey Lance where you were.
You possibly could have gotten Trey Lance where you were. I wonder why all this smoke around Justin Fields. Is it smoke because people want to have him fall to somebody, or is it smoke that San Francisco is not bringing his name up and that's the guy?
Honestly, the number one downfall to him is they lock onto his number one wide receiver. The tunnel vision, that's probably the number one thing.
Justin Fields?
Yeah, that's the number one downfall.
If you're a quarterback guru coach, if you're a quarterback coach and you can't get a prospect like Justin Fields to get his key off of his number one wide receiver, I'm going to need all of your money back. You know what I mean?
Turn in your playbook.
If Justin Fields is as good as he looks, and Justin Fields, to me, I think, is the third pick in the draft. If Lawrence and Wilson are off the board and you need a quarterback, and we're sitting here talking about whether it's going to be Mac Jones or Justin Fields, are you kidding me in 2021? I mean, are you out of your bleeping mind in 2021 debating Justin Fields and Mac Jones? I don't know enough about Trey Lance to make a strong opinion. He may, I mean, I've heard that he has like this Mahomes quality to him where he's like freakishly strong. And if anybody sees anything like Mahomes in anyone, I would take him over Trevor Lawrence. Period.
Well, that's the Zach Wilson comp because he throws all these off-platform throws, and he has a cannon of an arm, and he likes to wiggle free and improvise. So that's how the Zach Wilson hype train got rolling. My question is, if the draft is sooner, then if it follows up right after college football season ends, none of this happens. Justin Fields goes 3.
I mean, it's non-debatable. Why is the smoke around Justin? I am solid in my thinking that San Francisco's throwing up a smoke screen.
Yeah, you don't trade.
I think they're throwing up a smoke screen to say we want all these guys. We're thinking about Lance. We're thinking about Jones, but the whole time it's Justin Fields. Because I mean, bro, what do you want? What do you want in 2021? I mean, this guy is the ultimate dual threat. I mean, the ultimate dual threat in the sense of he's got this special skill set that he can throw it. He's athletic enough that he can run it, and he's got a ton of room for. He's so raw.
After that hit he took against Clemson, he's got heart.
Yes,
that's the guy I'll play for.
I mean, he's not played a lot of football.
No,
2 years.
Georgia has to feel like a fool.
Yeah, they got JT Daniels.
Moron.
I
mean, is your boy even on the Buffalo Bills anymore? I can't even think
of his name.
I can't even think of number 11. I can't.
Spins the ball. Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm. State Fromm.
No, Jake Fromm got canceled cultured.
Yeah, he did.
He did?
Yeah.
But he still got drafted.
It was over a racial,
It was a racial thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I won't dip my toe in that water.
Yeah,
move on.
No, let's not.
But the reason Shanahan loves Mac Jones is because he thinks he can be a Matt Ryan.
MVP.
And Shanahan was the offensive coordinator.
He was.
For the Falcons.
And I saw Julio Jones is on the trade block. I wouldn't touch Julio Jones a decade later. A decade into his career, man?
Because you still got to give up a 1 to get him.
I mean, you got to give him a
win now
lot
position.
to get. Yes, if I'm in a win now position, I would contemplate it. That's the only way I can contemplate it.
All right, here's my draft
Tampa,
question.
Maybe Tampa Bay. I'll give you Antonio Brown for Julio.
Well, Antonio Brown, sexual assault. I think something came out about that
recently.
More?
Yeah, Antonio Brown.
My draft question for you. If Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase had never played together, is this even a talk at 5, or would they just go offensive lineman? I think that's what is carrying the narrative. Is that
I don't know if that's for real. I mean, AJ Green is moving on, who has been at times the face of that franchise.
At times he was. I guess him or Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I mean,
Gio Bernard
still driving that van.
So I mean, they need a playmaker. They need a wide receiver. I mean, Chase to me is a Julio Jones type product.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a guy that he doesn't come around all the time. I mean, and if you need a playmaking wide receiver, you've seriously got to contemplate if he's on the board, whether or not you're going to take him. Now, they have needs that may outweigh that, right? I mean, that scar on Burrow's knee is wicked, bro. They sliced him open.
They went from quad to ankle.
They split it up. They split his knee open. I mean,
oh, that looked like a 1980s
it
ACL
did
surgery.
It makes me, I guess it's fine because he's like lumbering around and like rehabbing and such. But if you see that scar and what we know about ACL surgery in 2020, like it shouldn't be that big.
No, it
doesn't.
It's just massive.
That doesn't look right.
Maybe you requested it.
First things first, man. You got to get him protected.
Yeah,
and if you can do that through free agency, or you can do that through other picks in the draft, I like the combination of an offensive tackle. Don't they have 2 first-round picks? Don't they have a later first-round pick? Wasn't there a scenario that painted they could pick up an offensive lineman and a wide receiver?
That's the Jets. The Jets pick.
I don't necessarily have to see Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow playing together. If you just have to force it in there because of the LSU history, I want to see Jamar Chase go to the best situation for him, and I want to see Joe Burrow have the best people around him. Now, I mean, I understand that could be Chase, but first things first, if he has and takes hits like he did his first season for the next 2 years, he's going to be David Carr. He's going to be a number 1 pick that you just never know because he got hit so much. And, I mean, he can't go back-to-back surgery seasons, bro.
No.
You know what I mean?
We can't have another one of those scars.
No way. No way, man.
Y'all have gotten way away from my knowledge of the NFL draft.
Oh, yeah.
I brought it up, and now I'm just sitting here silent. Have y'all watched Undrafted? Am I
Yes.
also late to the game on that like I am The Last Dance?
Yes.
I
I'm
haven't
late.
seen Last
I'm real
Dance.
late.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm in the middle of it right now. I
For the
know,
first
I'm late.
time?
Yes. Hello.
We talked
have
about
we
this.
met?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
I mean,
and then you were
I'm
rewatching
new
it.
here.
Yes.
So wait, what draft
So
question? What do you want to
Undrafted,
get
that
to?
was my
Okay.
last question. Was it? Has anybody watched that?
Yes. Who's the participants this season?
I don't know.
Oh, you're not watching it?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I'm just asking.
No,
if
it's
anyone
very good.
has.
I love all of that like fodder
Me
on.
too. I love behind the scenes.
Yeah, me
Does
too.
that,
Like they do the QB1
continue?
and stuff like
Do they
that.
do an undrafted each year?
Yeah, every year.
They do it every year.
Every year they'll follow somebody.
Okay.
Let me see who's in it.
Okay.
But
So
it
I'll-
always
I'll get
Jamal
into that.
Adams was in one like Hey Rookie.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is always good where they kind of take you behind the
Hard Knocks
scenes.
stuff.
Yeah. Have they named the Hard Knocks team this season?
Not yet.
No, and they did the last year was
Chargers,
such a
and,
last year was so brutal when they did the double. They did
Yeah,
the Chargers,
Rams.
The
Yeah.
LAs.
and it was just like they have no content.
Yeah,
if
they
you're
did.
doing
They
two
had
teams,
they had no star.
no, just all they did was throw Justin Herbert. I was about to say Bear. Justin Herbert, just a lot of slow motion throws from him, and they all look great.
And he's a
Turned out
beast.
that was the biggest
he's
part
a-
of the year.
Who would you put on Hard Knocks? Tampa?
I'd definitely go Tampa.
It has to be. There's stipulations to it. It has to be a team
Yeah.
that missed the playoffs and hasn't been on it before. So
Oh,
it can't
really?
be. It can't be Tampa.
But I mean, if you just had your pick, who would it be?
I'd love to see the Saints. Obviously, I'd love to see Sean Payton in the locker room.
I'm gonna go Packers just because of that terrible relationship with
Yeah, that's
Aaron Rodgers
awesome.
and Matt LaFleur after drafting the quarterback last year, and then Rodgers had that season. Just how petty he would be.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
that would be fun to see.
I'm just gonna go back to playing air flute over here.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
9:03, so.
Any more draft questions?
We're no.
Devontae Smith.
No, I guess I asked them all.
Devontae
you think?
Smith. I think he's a top 10 pick. I think he's the second wide receiver in the draft, though. I mean, the debate of Jamar Chase, and it's
No, yeah, I'm taking Jamar Chase.
don't take my opinion because I mean, you know, I sound very biased, but I just don't think it's that big a debate when you have a guy like I think Chase is a decade, once in a decade type prospect. I really do.
That
I think
body.
his combination of size and speed, his ability to stop on a dime at 225 pounds and come out of a break and run a route.
Then jump 43 inches.
It's just he's freakish, man.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
is.
and what else do you really need to see than just turning on the film from last season and watching him chop up first round picks? I mean, just name me one. AJ Terrell, bang. I mean, the kid for Diggs at Alabama, bang. I mean,
Yeah.
all of them that they would put in front of him, he would just chop them up.
Oh, you couldn't play one-on-one coverage.
You couldn't double him like Clemson was trying to do. I mean, it was, Georgia tried to put 2 over the top of him. They just, to me, he's a once in a decade type dude. If he's on the board and you need a wide receiver, don't overthink it. Put the card in.
I do have one more guy I wanted to ask about, Trey Lance. Don't know anything.
That's curious.
He's the mysterious product from North Dakota State.
He's the curious one. I mean,
he played one game in
That's
2020
interesting.
as like a showcase game and didn't play great. Threw his first and only interception of his career
Really?
Yeah.
in that game. But the year before, if you go back, I mean, he's playing. You can tell he is by far the most talented person, like on the field. Like he should be playing D1.
He's only started 17 college games.
I think he won them all. Or did he lose the last one? Something like that.
Dynasty there.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why he has all of the measurables and like everything that you'd want to see. He trucks people. He runs like a madman. He's huge.
So I can just throw any name out there, and one of you knows like every stat on the guy, basically.
If you go, I mean, I think we just covered our bases of the top 5.
better be high level guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the Jordy Culotta Show in the books on this Tuesday. Have a good day. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Go Chevrolet.
Go draft.
It's draft tomorrow.
Go get your gear.
Go get your gear. It turns off, 24 hours from now.
It's warm in here.